I want to steal a minute and deal with the issues which I think you were directing to Ndate Cele on foreign nationals. I have no problem with police keeping mum about the nationality of the offenders. But I think that sometimes we are too shy to say to people who cross the borders legally and illegally, who reside amongst us, who do not respect our laws, traditions and cultures, that we are fed up. That does not turn us into people who are, xenophobic. I make an example which sounds like nothing. When I entered Tanzania in 1976, I was wearing a miniskirt, and a miniskirt was outlawed in Tanzania. I could not leave the airport facilities until the ANC had found me a kanga to wear to respect the laws of the country. And in every country I have been, and in every country I continue to be, I make sure that I am on the right side of the laws. And that is all we are saying. The truth of the matter is that most of the syndicates are not run by South Africans. And we're too ashamed to say that in Taticele. What is happening in Orkney and Potchefstroom, we need to give a little closer look at, because it is syndicates who sometimes deal with matters which take away even the water supplies which is supposed to be routed to people. And then we blame the municipality. So we need to say, come stay with us. Yes, if you are legal. If you are not legal, please approach us for help. If you are in trouble, we will see how we help you. If we have to deport you, we will also not be apologetic about deporting you. But please respect us.
Thank you.
Hello guys, welcome back again to South Africa with Philly. So in today's video, again as usual, we will be talking about very sensitive topics that a lot of us don't want to discuss about. So today's topic will be why other Africans hate South Africans part 2. I still bring this up because it's still relevant, and I realized that in my first video I actually tried to filter a lot of things out and neutralize a lot of things out, and I ended up just saying crazy things, of which those were somewhat true as well. Because, for example, if someone has something and then you admire that thing that you can't get, obviously that brings envy, from envy, jealousy, and that can lead to hate as well. So in today's video, I will be saying the unfiltered truth about why other Africans hate South Africans. So everything was nice, merry, just after South Africa was set free. There was no apartheid anymore, like, you get what I mean. And then, like, the borders were open, like everyone was free to come in, black and white. And now, like, African people could now at least start enjoying South Africa as well. So when it all started, like, it was all so merry. Like, there were no, like, fights weren't that crazy at all at that point, right? People were still discovering the new South Africa. So without saying a lot of things, let me just get onto the video before I start getting off topic. So yeah, I made a little cute list of why I think other Africans hate South Africans. So it's obvious, like, we have other Africans who come to the country as professionals, and they contribute positively to the progress of the country, obviously. Like, for example, when we just had our freedom, or when we were just set free from apartheid, They called in a lot of teachers, for example, from different parts of Africa to come and teach us, which is really good. That I'm sure that really helped a lot during that time, because remember, South Africans weren't really given the best education. Like black South Africans weren't really given the best education at that time. They were very limited in what they could pursue, because a lot of things were opened for white people, and black people weren't allowed to do those things. So now when South Africa was now a democratic country, they brought in people to come and help us with that. So which is great, because our African brothers and sisters back then, they were more advanced than us, because they had all the opportunities in their countries, right? Not to talk of the other nitty-gritty things that happen in their countries, but then just focusing on the positive side, they were ahead of us, because we were not allowed to do all those things. Not that we weren't smart or anything, we were just not allowed to do all those things. I'm sure you've heard of Bantu education, so where a lot of our people weren't really allowed to go into sciences, and they were forced to learn about certain things, learning a certain language of which that's Afrikaans. I'm sure maybe a lot of you have heard about it. So one thing that I think that other Africans don't like South Africans because of, well, whatever that I'm going to say right now is unfiltered. This is the real truth, without me trying to sugarcoat anything. I'm just going to say it as it is. So other Africans loved South Africa when it just opened and everyone was free to do to come into the country and do as they please. But then South Africans got tired of this. Obviously, if someone comes into your home, obviously the first time they get there, they want to portray the good side of them, right? So whatever that they're doing, they'll try to show you the good side. And then when they become comfortable, now you will see the other side of them, of which sometimes is not good. So this is what happened in this case. At first everything was cool, everyone was living happily, merrily, and then the bad side came out because they started being more comfortable. So other Africans hate South Africans, or vice versa. South Africans dislike other Africans because of crime. This is not disputable. You can say whatever that you want to say. It's not justifiable for you to say that, but South Africans commit crime as well. So let me give you like an example with household. Let's say at your home, let's say your sister or your brother steals your mother's coins, for example. Let's just keep it simple like that. Will your mother be happy because you are the one stealing that? No, of course not. Your mom will be upset because you stole their things, right? How do you think your mom will now feel if your neighbor comes into your home and then they steal your mom's things as well? Will your mom take it lightly because, well, my children steal as well? No. Crime is crime. But then when someone or an outsider does it, it feels worse, because it's like you're now disrespecting someone else's household. They have welcomed you, and then now you are taking advantage of that in the name of your children are doing it too. When it comes to crime, I won't lie to you, it's like there's some sort of a profile in a way. I don't know how best to describe it. For example, it is known, this is not a secret, nationalities like Nigerians, for example, Zimbabweans, Congolese, for example, these people are known in South Africa for committing crimes, Mozambicans as well. And it's also known that a lot of the most dangerous crimes, like most horrific crimes, are actually committed by outsiders compared to South Africans, like hijacking. It's known that a lot of car hijackings are done by Zimbabweans. You can come for me in the comment section. I'm just going to spill it as it is. It's the truth. It's just what is happening. And if you follow the news, you'd see that a lot of these crimes, for example, when it comes to car hijackings, a lot of them, a lot of the criminals that are actually being found are actually Zimbabweans. For example, crimes like mugging or robbing on the streets, especially in Johannesburg, a lot of them are Zimbabweans as well. And Zimbabweans are not South Africans, that's obvious. Another thing is CIT, like cash in transit bombing or attacks. It's also known that that's also done by Zimbabweans. They're famous for that in South Africa. Another thing that Zimbabweans are famous for in South Africa that's not good, and it's tarnishing their image, is crossing the borders illegally. Like, that is so known to a point that even if you could ask a small child, they know that Zimbabweans cross the border illegally. They just go over the fence. Yeah, we know. I mean, the fence is so ridiculous. Like, check it out. I don't know if that even qualifies to be called a border, but yeah, like, they go through extreme measures to make sure that they come into South Africa, and only to commit crimes. Most of those that don't commit crimes, obviously, they come through legally, they go to school with us, and they become professionals, which is great. But then, yeah, that. And then now let's go to Nigerians. What are like Nigerians famous for in South Africa? The real truth. Nigerians in South Africa are not famous for being doctors. They are not famous for being lawyers. The real truth is that Nigerians in South Africa are famous for being drug dealers. They are famous for being scammers. They are famous for being human traffickers. They are famous like for promoting such things like as prostitution. They have clubs all over the country. Most of the clubs that you'd go to in Johannesburg that are dodging, they're usually owned by Nigerians, and usually like drug dealing occurs in the background. That's the real unfiltered truth. I've said a handful when it comes to crime. So another thing, obviously all of these things are somewhat related to crime, but then I just wanted to mention those other crimes that like South Africans are really tired of, and South Africans have shown hatred to other African nationals because of this. Not that all of other African nationals are doing this, but the ones that are doing this are actually more noticeable than the ones that are doing good. So my second point is false asylum seekers. We know that people seek asylum if they feel that their lives are in danger of some sort, or their countries are at war or something. Usually when people seek asylum, they go to the nearest country, right? But then how would you say someone is an asylum seeker if they can go all the way from West Africa to South Africa? Like, they skip all of the countries to get to South Africa, and all of them maybe from East Africa going all the way down to South Africa. They have skipped all of their neighboring countries and came to South Africa. South Africans dislike that as well, because they feel like because there aren't jobs in South Africa, because it's obvious that in South Africa we have an employment crisis. So now South Africans are saying, if all of these people are coming to the country and there aren't any jobs, what are they going to be doing for a living? How are they going to feed themselves? How are they going to take care of their families? Because some of them even came with their families. Obviously, one of the closest thing is to commit crimes, because that's one of the easiest ways to do it. Because if someone tries so hard and they can't get anything, they usually resolve to crime because they have to feed. So that also makes South Africans dislike other African nationals. And then point number 3, this one, like exploiting government tenders that are meant for South Africans. For example, like the BEE scheme, whereby mainly black South Africans are meant to benefit from this, especially because of the injustices of the past. Other Africans, because they are black, think this is for them as well just because they are black, and this is not true. This is for black South Africans, so as to make sure they try and balance the inequalities in the country. But then instead, other Africans come to the country to exploit these things. For example, we had an issue of a Nigerian who was bold enough to go to one of the news stations in his country, Nigeria, and boast about how he gets government tenders in South Africa. South Africans don't like that because it's not meant for them. How are they getting it? And apparently it's also alleged that he also married his South African wife to get citizenship. He actually allegedly said this himself. We'll make a story about him in a separate video because I feel like this is something that we should discuss about.
Area of non-professional, like I'm into infrastructure maintenance there now. Now when I'm giving a tender to do any maintenance on infrastructure, South Africa has already got their standard rate of labor there, whereby this is the amount per hour. But if I'm giving that tender, then foreigners will come to me like Zimbabweans, Malawians, Mozambicans. They'll say, hey, boss, me, I will charge you 3 rand per hour. But South Africa have got a standard rate in their labor work. If foreigners will come to me, I'll give you a cheaper rate. What will I go for? I will go for the cheaper one. Then the South African will get annoyed that, no, that's supposed to be our job. You are giving it to Mozambicans. You are giving it to Zimbabweans because they are giving at a cheap rate. That's where the attack starts as well. So that's where the start that foreigners are taking their jobs.
And this is like creating even more hate because South Africans are like, other countries are firm about this, that no other nationals are supposed to benefit from government tenders except for the natives. But then that is not happening in South Africa. It's happening otherwise, and this is creating hatred. Because when South Africans complain about it, obviously those who are benefiting from it will complain back from it because they will lose the benefit, and this is creating hate between like South Africans and other African nationals. That's why South Africans hate other African nationals, and that's also why other African nationals hate South Africans. So another point number 4 is fake churches. This is a crazy one. This is a really huge topic again that we can also discuss further in a different video. It says it all on its own. Like other Africans coming into South Africa to create fake churches. It's like business in a way. Like, for example, pastors from Nigeria, from Malawi, for example, don't you think that they also need prayers? What makes you think that South Africa needs prayers more? And obviously these churches are like prosperity churches. They preach prosperity, yet where they come from, it's the opposite. Now point number 5, which is selling expired goods. For example, this is very known that Somali business people, as well as Ethiopians or Eritreans, like the Bangladeshi as well, are alleged to be selling fake or counterfeit goods, as well as expired goods in South Africa. And South Africans have gotten tired of this, like having to say it all the time that these people are not doing good. They believe that they are harming the people. Of course, I mean, like there's this other video where one of the politicians here was invading, like going into these people's shops and checking the fake goods, and obviously he found so many. And I remember in one of the videos he asked him, would you feed this to your child? And he said no, but he is selling these products to South Africans, selling expired goods to South Africans. And South Africans have gotten tired of this, that like they are doing more harm than good. So South Africans hate that, and it's creating more hate, because now when they speak out about it, they are being labeled as xenophobic, and that's creating hate on both sides.
Showroom.
Showroom.
Yeah.
This is your shop.
No, I'm working here.
You're working here?
Yeah.
All right. What is this?
It's purity.
For babies?
Yeah.
Did you see the date here? Would you sell your child this?
No, I'm.
It expired. Now answer me. Would you sell your child? Would you make your child eat this? Yes or no?
Yes.
So you give your child old food?
No.
So why you give our children old food?
But I don't know. I'm working there. Maybe yeah.
All this purity, guys. Check all the baby food must get out of the
There's
shop
whole
now.
aisle.
We'll close. Bring that. Take that whole aisle.
Now coming to point number 6 is is opening businesses that are not compliant with what is required of them. For example, their health safety is not in check, or the health standards are not up to scratch, and that, for example, when foreigners come into the country, as in foreigners, I'm not referring to just Africans, I'm referring to anyone who is not from South Africa. When you want to open a business in the country, you have to have a minimum of 5 million rand to invest, right? Of which, when you look at the businesses that are being opened, like for example spaza shops or cafes, for example, like very small shops, they're not even up to 5 million rand, of which that's what is required of them. They don't even have a business permit for them to be able to operate a business in the country. But then when South Africans complain about that, they are being labeled as xenophobic, they are being labeled as lazy and not wanting to participate in this, or not wanting to work hard and make their own businesses. Whereas obviously this tells you that they are making it like an unfair competition. For example, what I mean by an unfair competition is that they sell their products at very, like, ridiculously low prices, and the competition is not fair, because obviously people will go where the price is more affordable, because people want more affordable things. It's just how it is. And it's also alleged that like these people have their own fake factories where they create all these things, so meaning that they like usually use less money to actually produce the things that they're actually selling. And obviously they allegedly label this thing as like the products that we are usually used to, and they sell them at a low price. So obviously people will go for the low prices, and which makes it hard for the natives to actually thrive in these businesses, and the businesses usually close down. And that creates a lot of hate, because now South Africans are saying that, like, why is the government not regulating these people? Obviously a lot of this blame goes to the government. Why is it not regulating these things? Why is it not making sure that they do like health checks, making sure that these people are fit to open businesses in the country, for example, making sure that these people that are in the country came in legally and not illegally. So, but then because the government is not acting accordingly, people get more aggressive and they now feel like they don't have a choice. They have to attack the people. Well, that's what happens when people feel like they have no other choice now. So they are resorting to other means that they feel can help the situation, which is creating hate among Africans. Like, other African nationals hate South Africans because of that, and South Africans also hate other Africans because of that. Because now the fight is, South Africans would say, why are you not coming here legally? Why are you not operating the businesses legally? Why are you doing certain crimes? And then the foreigners will respond as in, why is it that you don't challenge your government to make sure that they enforce these things? Of which doesn't make whatever that they're doing right.
The necessary regulatory requirements we are talking about, one is that the business should have been registered at the Registrar General's department. We are also saying that if you are a foreigner and you are trading in this country, you must have the necessary residence and work permits to be in this country. There must be proof that you have paid your taxes. If you are a foreigner and you are trading in our market, you should show proof that you have invested at least $1 million in your capital. So if you don't have that, then it means that you are not part of this country. Now there is a ridiculous argument that people are part of ECOWAS. Now if you are part of ECOWAS does not mean that you can go into anybody's.
My last point is money laundering and not paying tax. South Africans hate they hate foreigners for that. South Africans hate foreigners for money laundering. For example, Chinese are famous for that. Chinese are not Africans, yes, but them as well as Somalis and Ethiopians are famous for money laundering because, for example, it's alleged that when they open their businesses, they don't use the banking systems in the country, and they rather use cash and take the cashes, like launder the money to their countries. So obviously, if they don't use the banks, meaning that the money that they are making is not regulated, and obviously they don't pay the taxes that they're supposed to. So meaning that whatever tax that they pay is like ordinary tax that like ordinary individuals pay, of which even a kid pays tax, because whatever little thing that you buy, even a candy, has like tax in it. But then that's not what we're talking about, and you know it. So South Africans hate foreigners for that, and this is really sad. If we as Africans don't talk about this, the hate will not stop. It's time that we stop filtering all these things and say the truth as it is. So thank you for watching my video. You can leave comments as usual. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my channel to watch more videos. Let's engage in these very important topics, and thank you so much for watching once again. Bye.